comfort and luxury at its best. Now, this is Issues at Hand, proudly brought to you by Protea Hotel by Marriott Entebbe. Are you planning for a wedding reception? Are you looking for where to spend your honeymoon? The likes of Shama, Protea Hotel by Marriott Entebbe has you covered. I welcome you and thank you so much for watching Good Morning Family, all the way from 7 a.m. up to now, where we now talk about pertinent issues that are making headlines. Now, Edrine Osteen Mukalazi is my name, sitting in, of course, for Karo Noamani. And just to remind you, in case you didn't know, this is a very, very important week, especially to the mothers or the would-be mothers or the upcoming mothers. Why? Every first week of August is considered the breastfeeding week, and this week is aimed at creating awareness, the importance of breastfeeding, and why you as a mother, you should breastfeed your child. And this year the theme is let's make breastfeeding and work. So let's make breastfeeding and work. That is why yesterday we saw the MPs concerned, and they're now activating for 6 months maternity leave. Why? They want to give a mother time to exclusively breastfeed their child, and maybe by the time they return to work, at least the child is sorted. And now, why do you even need the 6 months of breastfeeding, exclusive breastfeeding? Or why is breastfeeding really important? It is what we are going to discuss this morning. We don't know how that will be, whether the bosses will actually contain that to give you 6 months off to breastfeed. But with us is Andrew Musasizi and the one Karame Gylane from Makerere University Nursing Students Association. You're most welcome, Andrew.
Thank you.
I will start with you. Kindly greet our viewers this morning.
A very good morning to you all. Musasizi Andrew is my name. A nursing student from Makerere. I'm in year 3, and as nursing students of Makerere, we have an association, and it is called Makerere University Nursing Students Association.
Okay.
And I'm the chairperson of that association.
Oh, wow.
I'm very happy to be here.
We're also very happy to host the chairperson. Now, I know I'm violating the other saying of ladies first. This time I said with gentlemen, men first. But Karame, you're most welcome. Kindly greet other viewers who are watching you this morning.
Thank you very much. My name is Karame Gylane, and I'm a third-year nursing student, and I'm very privileged to be on this show. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. So we are looking at breastfeeding. We understand this is a breastfeeding week, and the main purpose, the main reason this week was dedicated is to create awareness. But we have very many people. Okay, when you talk about breastfeeding, I'll direct this to you. When you talk about breastfeeding, very many people have a lot of misconceptions. Some ladies, young in age, don't really want to breastfeed. They don't even see the importance of breastfeeding. So you realize breastfeeding is a myth to some people, even with its importance that we're going to discuss as we go on. But what is breastfeeding according to you? 1, as a woman, 2, as a nurse.
Okay. First of all, I'll start by what is breastfeeding as a nurse. Breastfeeding is the act of the mother being able to give her breast to the child, for the child to suckle it and take the breast milk that comes out of the mother. And it is very important for the baby, as we shall see. And next, as a woman, I think breastfeeding is an act of bonding, something that brings you closer to your child and enables you to know your child better and the child to know the mother better.
Okay.
Yes.
Andrew.
Yes, sir.
According to you, now I'll not ask you because you are a man. You don't breastfeed, of course.
Of course.
But what is breastfeeding to you?
So breastfeeding to me is the act of a mother giving a breast to the newborn baby to allow the baby to suck the breast and get milk out of it.
Okay.
So breastfeeding, it is very beneficial to two of them. So I don't know if you had prepared that question of benefits of breastfeeding.
Yeah, of course, we are going to look at the advantages of breastfeeding. Why should even a mother, now that you brought it on board, let us start with you still telling us about some of the importances of breastfeeding. Maybe someone out there would be missing out.
Breastfeeding has very many importances, and actually there is no there is no the importance that is this one you should take for granted. Every importance is very important for a mother and a baby. So the importance, I may start with the nutrients. So breast milk is so nutritious. It is a balanced diet for the baby. Yeah. So and the breast milk, it boosts your immune system. It boosts the immune system of the baby, whereby it has the antibodies that fight against infections. So breastfeeding as a process, it creates a connection between the mother and the baby. That there is that emotional connection between the two. Yeah.
Okay. Now you are giving us breastfeeding, the benefits to a child, but Karame, are there benefits that breastfeeding has to mothers?
Yes, of course.
Please share them with us, because I know very many mothers who really don't want to breastfeed, with the reasons I'll share after you telling us the importances.
Okay. Breastfeeding is very important for the mother, naturally, because it enables the mother to bond with the child. Remember, as you are holding your child like this, the baby is able to look at the mother directly into the eyes, and that's the distance to which the baby is able to see from the face, from the breast to the mother's eyes. So the baby is able to bond with the mother, to feel comforted, and this enables the mother to also know the child. And the next thing is that as the baby is breastfeeding and the mother is letting out this milk, it prevents certain conditions like breast engorgement, whereby the breasts are so full of milk and it is very uncomfortable for the mother, and this is sometimes painful. So it relieves the mother of such pain.
Okay. Yes. And okay, are you adding on something?
Yeah. Also to mothers, it reduces risks of cancer, most especially breast cancer and the ovarian cancer.
How does that happen? Someone really want to know, because those are very, very, very big problems in the country today.
Yeah, it happens in a way like breastfeeding, as a process is controlled by hormones. Yeah, so given that it is endocrine controlled, and these things, all these things, the ovaries of the mother and the breasts, during this process of breastfeeding, there is a way I think they are relieved, and physiologically, there are some other times I feel like I should not talk. Yeah.
No, but at least a layman can really understand this, and that is what we want. We really don't want to bring out those terminologies we use when you're there. Well, we have a problem. It is observed that some mothers don't really want to breastfeed their children due to several reasons. One, especially young mothers have a misconception. When I breastfeed, maybe my breast will lose shape, or there are a lot of issues. But what do you think causes this? What do you think is the main cause of mothers ignoring breastfeeding? Because I realize, or I understand that when mothers go for antenatal, they even take them through some of these. But even when they have this knowledge, when they get back home, they don't want to practice this. Why do you think this happens?
Well, it's true, and I also used to think the same. I used to think that when you breastfeed the child, your breast will lose the shape and they will not be, nice to look at when but the thing that causes that actually is not breastfeeding. Because we have seen mothers who have breastfeed their babies and their breasts still remain with their shape. But the problem that most women find is the right, the right breast size. Like when you wear the wrong breast size, it affects the shape of your breasts. So what I can advise mothers who are breastfeeding is that when they start breastfeeding, they should find a right breast size that will not make them feel uncomfortable, that will be able to support their breasts very well so that they do not lose shape, because that's one thing that makes the breast to lose the shape. And also it is caused by aging. It's not actually caused by breastfeeding, but naturally as a woman grows with the aging process, the ligaments or those kind of things that hold the breast in the shape tend to kind of loosen, and the breast lose shape because of age, but not because of breastfeeding.
Okay, thank you so much, and I believe this has cleared the air to you who had such fears. Andrew,
Yes.
Are there any medical reasons that can be given to a mother not to breastfeed their child, or are there any conditions that can really limit a mother from breastfeeding their child? And if they're there, can you kindly share them with us?
Yeah, those conditions are there. Yeah, because a mother might be having a breast, the mother might be having an engorged breast. Yeah, so this is where the breast is swollen. Yeah, it might be filled with milk or as a result of infection. Yeah, so if it is as a result of infection, we call that one mastitis. It comes along with fever. Yeah, the one with infection. But if it is only engaged without any fever, then that one is there is no inflammation in the breast, but still in that condition the mother should not do what? Should not breastfeed. Yeah, so even to alcohol takers, yeah, it is advisable to give breastfeeding after a minimum of 3 hours after taking alcohol. Once you take alcohol, just after 2 hours, then breastfeed. Yeah, even the smoking stuff.
Before you even leave that,
Yes.
Is there any in any way, is it that this alcohol can be taken by the child as well?
Yeah, alcohol affects. Alcohol has its own effects. Yeah, maybe she can help us share on more about those alcohol, drugs, smoking. Yeah, because they come along. They're in in one category.
I'll come back to you, but now that you you referred us to, please share with us how someone who takes drugs or takes alcohol gets challenges in breastfeeding.
Okay. First, I'll compliment on what you have said, that as a mother, it's not good for you to take alcohol when you are a breastfeeding mother, because this alcohol is a chemical and it can be able to reach into the breast milk. And when taken by the child, it's not good, because the body organs like the kidneys, the liver of the child, they have not yet developed to be able to detoxificate or to detoxify their bodies and remove all these chemicals that you are taking in. And it is very important for you to protect your baby before you do what? You please yourself by taking alcohol.
How do you protect this baby?
Don't take alcohol as a breastfeeding mother. It is very important. Yes.
So back to you, Andrew. You are still elaborating on those other medical conditions that can really stop a mother or be a blockage to a mother when it comes to breastfeeding.
Yeah. So another, for example, if the nipple has cracked or it is affected, yeah, or it is bleeding, yeah, it is advised for the mother not to breastfeed the baby.
What could be the repercussions for that? If maybe the nipple is wounded or it's bleeding and a baby suckles, is it in any way unsafe?
Yeah, the baby may take up some of the infections the mother may be suffering from. Yeah.
Okay. Now
Can I compliment
please
on
do,
that?
please do.
As mothers, the nipples tend to dry up sometimes and they get cracked. But in this case, what you can do, you get the milk and you put it on that cracked nipple. This milk will fill those cracks on the nipple, and since this milk has some antibodies and things that can help the wounds to heal, it will help your nipple to do what? To heal. And under all circumstances, it is very important for you to find all ways to continue breastfeeding your child. Yes. Don't stop breastfeeding your child. Instead, find ways that can help you to overcome any challenge that you are facing. And if it is important, seek medical attention. Yes.
Okay, now we get into the gist of breastfeeding. When should this be done? For how long should it be done? Because one, we have our MPs. Dr. Ayume is really agitating for the 6 months leave, maternity leave. I don't know why he's also not agitating for the paternity leave to be lifted from 5 days to, okay, that is a talk of another day, paternity. But we're talking about when and for how long should a mother breastfeed. So I think here we're also going to bring in the element of exclusive breastfeeding. Now, starting with Andrew. Andrew, yes. When should a mother breastfeed, and for how long should they breastfeed in a day, for example? Are there a specific number of times that they're supposed to breastfeed? Because earlier you told us that you talked about the 3 hours after you consuming alcohol and what. So just in case someone is sober and they don't take alcohol, they don't use drugs, are there intervals that they're supposed to breastfeed their children?
Okay, thank you very much. So breastfeeding should start immediately after birth. Yeah, and in a day, yeah, a minimum number of a mother breastfeeding a baby should be 13 times. And exclusive breastfeeding, this is where you breastfeed. This is where you breastfeed all a baby depends on breast milk alone, not giving like additional supplies or giving juice what. And yeah, the government of Uganda is emphasizing, and even health professionals are advocating for exclusive breastfeeding 6 months. Yeah. So, and in a day, as I've told you, 13 times, and the breastfeeding depends on the need of the baby. Once you see a baby showing signs of hunger, yeah, these are, we call them feeding cues. Yeah, those are the signs a baby may show. For example, a baby may start putting fingers in the mouth, may want to stack something, may make some noise with the lips. Yeah, moving towards the breast, turning around. And once it reaches a time where a baby has started crying, then just to know that the baby really needs the breast.
Even if it is violating the 13 times? Even if it goes beyond the 13 times?
We said at least.
Okay.
Yeah, at least.
Now, Karame, we are talking about the intervals in which, we assume a baby breastfeeds at least 13 times a month. What happens if a baby cannot be breastfed the 13 times? Maybe a mother can calculate and they say, my baby can only breastfeed 10 times. But this is exclusive breastfeeding. Should we assume that there is a danger sign?
What you're trying to say is that the mother is like trying to measure the times the baby should breastfeed.
Yes. So they realize in a day up to maybe midnight, this baby has not breastfed the 13 times. Maybe they're breastfed 9 times or 6 times or 7. But this is exclusive breastfeeding. And should this be a dangerous sign or reason for mother to worry that that child is not suckling, is not breastfeeding well?
If the baby breastfeeds and when you put them to the breast, they breastfeed, but they have not breastfed for that many times in 24 hours, but they are breastfeeding, I think that's not a reason for you to worry. The time that you should worry is when the baby is not breastfeeding at all, is completely refusing to breastfeed. That is a danger sign and you should seek medical help. Okay. You put the baby to the breast, the baby is not breastfeeding, is not showing any signs of breastfeeding, is like pushing the breast away, that's a sign to worry. But if the baby is breastfeeding and maybe they did not breastfeed for that many times, but they are breastfeeding, there's no need to worry.
Okay. Then in the same development, we are talking about the 13 times, and there is something they say that it is the mother to measure how much a baby can take in. So how can a mother measure that, and when do they measure it? Do they measure it with time or by the number of times they suckle? You know, how does that happen? Because you realize some mothers don't even know that they are supposed to help their baby, support them in that.
Okay. Well, as a medical personnel, a mother should not measure for the baby how much the baby should take. The baby should take as much as they want. Yes, as much as they want. Anytime they feel like breastfeeding, they should be able to breastfeed. It's not that the mother should measure that at this certain point or this much, the baby should stop breastfeeding or the baby should continue breastfeeding. But as long as the baby is still showing that they are hungry, the baby should remain on the breast and breastfeed until they can no longer, until they are no longer suckling the breast. That's when we can know that the baby is full, when they are no longer suckling the breast. But you taking the baby away from the breast, yet the baby is still wanting to breastfeed because there is a certain measurement you have done, is not appropriate.
Yeah, because these are casual talks out there. People have such you know, these days people gather as much information as they can, whether authentic or non-authentic. People will still have this information and they'll keep it as gospel truth. That is why I asked that question, because there should be a mother, I've heard it somewhere, and there could be a mother who has heard this, and maybe they have it in mind and they think they should measure for their baby, even when they still need to breastfeed. They think, no, at this point I should break it.
No.
Okay, so what does exclusive breastfeeding entails?
Exclusive breastfeeding means that the baby is taking in only breast milk.
Not even water?
No water, no glucose, no juice, no formula milk, no porridge. Only and only breast milk.
Okay.
Throughout the 24 hours. Nothing more than that, nothing less than that. Okay. Only breast milk. That is exclusive breastfeeding.
Okay.
Yes.
Andrew, what are the importances of exclusive breastfeeding? Why is it important that a mother can breastfeed their child at least those 6 months full time?
Yeah. So the importance is there, starting from the first milk of the first 2 weeks. Yeah, that milk is so nutritious, and as I had told you before, the benefits of breastfeeding, I talked about boosting immunity. Yeah, and with exclusive breastfeeding, given that milk is well balanced with the nutrients, vitamins, minerals that are necessary for the growth of the baby, then breast milk, by then, that's when breast milk in that period, it is highly needed by the baby. Yeah, a baby should really be breastfed.
Okay. Yeah. Karame, any submission on this? the importance of exclusive breastfeeding, because of its importance. That is why even the legislators have now come up to agitate for the 6 months leave, because you realize the 92 days that have been in the constitution cannot really enable a mother breastfeed their child exclusively, even in a time where a few places have breastfeeding points, breastfeeding hubs, much as this has been also agitated for by civil society organizations, but it is not yet implemented. So you realize very many places don't have these safe places where a mother can go and breastfeed. Now, I think the only option is now having it that a mother should breastfeed 6 months when you're home. No stress for work and all that. Why is it important that a mother should have all this time breastfeeding their child?
Okay. It is very important for the child. When we are growing up, they told us that we are the future. We are the future generation. Yes. And it doesn't only start when the baby is in primary school or in secondary school, but from the time the baby is born, we consider the baby as our future, the future president, the future doctors, the future, So it is very important for you to protect and to nurture this baby from the point when they are born. And when this baby is born, they are not born with their own immunity. So they are dependent on the mother to fight diseases, to fight infections, to be able to grow very well, to be able to grow intellectually, so that we can have people who are intellectuals and who are very knowledgeable and wise. So it is important for the baby to obtain this immunity from the mother through the breast milk, to get all the minerals, all the nutrients, and it is also important for the cognitive development of the child. Remember, most of the things we learn those things from the mother. As the mother is breastfeeding, she's singing, she's talking to the child, and the child is developing. People think that children don't understand what we are speaking. When we are saying words, when we are singing, the child is understanding. So as the mother is breastfeeding, their baby, as they are talking, they are singing, they are talking to their child, the child is developing cognitively. By the time they reach preschool or baby class, they have already learned. They don't have language problems, and it is really important. It also protects the baby from these kind of intestinal diseases. The baby is not born with enzymes that are able to digest all these other things that first we can be able to digest. The baby is only born with enzymes that can digest the breast milk, meaning that the moment you introduce something else like juice, something else like formula milk, like porridge, it will cause disturbances in the system of the child, because that's not how God engineered the system of the baby. So you may find that the baby now is having a swollen abdomen. The baby is, is sick because you have not what? You have not exclusively breastfed. Yeah, that's what I can say about that.
Okay. So because we've seen formulas on market which are termed an alternative for breast milk. So are there formulas, Andrew, on market that are really working as the same as breast milk?
Formulas on market, I'm not sure about that. Yeah, I'm not sure about that.
So we are taking a short commercial break, and when we return, we shall continue with issues at hand. We are looking at how vital breastfeeding is now. The questions we come back with are: how is breastfeeding a family planning method? And secondly, what happens if you are HIV positive? Are you excluded from breastfeeding? Don't go anywhere. We have the answer. Hotel by Marriott Entebbe has a kids play center, so if you're looking for where to take your child on a weekend, please, Protea Hotel by Marriott Entebbe they have a gym, a wellness center where you can go and keep your body healthy, but also they have high class accommodation for you who wants to spend some days out in a conducive environment at the shores of the lake. Protea Hotel by Marriott Entebbe is the way to go. We are back from the break. This is Issues at Hand, and we are looking at the importance of breastfeeding and why breastfeeding is really and really vital. Before the break, I actually I brought in a question about the formulas, and Karame, you're a woman, you know. These formulas, you know, some of these formulas that really mothers have, you know, some are even sold in health facilities. The retailers will come hawking them, and you know, all that. So should we assume that there is at least a formula on market that can work as breast milk? All breast milk is breast milk, and it shouldn't be compromised to anything.
Okay, thank you. What I can say is that there is no formula in this world that can measure up to breast milk, because God made breast milk very unique in that it contains everything. However much these formulas can complement the breast milk, but they cannot contain everything. They may be fortified with minerals, they may be fortified with all these kind of proteins and everything, but they may not contain the antibodies that can fight diseases that the child so much needs. So I say that breast milk cannot be compromised. Okay. You have to breastfeed your child. It is very important.
Okay. Thank you so much. Mothers out there, this show is really dedicated to you breastfeeding mothers. It is important that you exclusively breastfeed your child. Now, in the journey of breastfeeding, of course, we have a lot of challenges. Sometimes you're supposed to work. Very many of our bosses give us 2 months. Those are 60 days maternity leave. And you realize you are supposed to get back to work after the 60 months. Those are now, sorry, after the 60 days. Those are 2 months. Yet, we are saying breastfeeding exclusively should be 6 months. What happens if, still, Karame, what happens if a mother has to go back for work, but they still have to breastfeed their child? They're not coming with this baby to work, they're leaving the child home, yet they're supposed to try exclusively breastfeed them.
For working mothers, it is quite challenging to breastfeed the child. But there is another option for a working mother to exclusively breastfeed their child through expressing the milk. By expressing the milk, I mean the act of bringing the milk out of your breast and into a certain self-clean container that can be kept in a fridge, and then later on when you are not around, this milk that you have expressed in this container can be given to your child. The act of expressing the milk quite needs some practicing, and it needs learning. And if you'd like to know more about it, you can search for some YouTube videos that show the act of expressing the milk. But it is very good for you to express this milk, and you keep it in a freezer. In a freezer it can go up to 6 months if kept in a freezer when it is frozen. Then in a fridge when it is not frozen, it can go for about a week. Then in just like when it's not in a fridge, it can go for about like 4 to 5 hours. So it is very important, and it can help you in that when you have gone to work, you have gone back to your office, or you have gone back to the hospital where you work from, the person who is taking care of your child can warm this milk by putting it in a warm bath. You put some warm water into a bigger container. Then you get this container which contains the milk, and you put it inside there so that it comes to body temperature. But don't put it directly on the fire or on the cooker. So after it has become warm, then the baby can take it. Even when you're not around, still you can continue exclusive breastfeeding by that method.
Okay.
Yes.
So no more excuses. You know, I'm working class. I have to work. No, there is another option which can still have you exclusively breastfeeding your child. Now, Andrew, There is a question. As we were growing up, we used to see mothers not breastfeeding their children, and they told us one of the reasons was they were HIV positive. So, is it that a mother who is HIV positive cannot breastfeed their child?
Yeah.
Or technology and science and technology has really changed this?
No, what is on ground is right. Yeah, mother with HIV, she can.
She can. So there are no more excuses. Karame, what do you have to say about this?
For a mother to be HIV positive, it does not mean that they should not breastfeed their child. And as we are stressing this, it is very, very important for the child to breastfeed, however much the mother has HIV. And first of all, when an HIV positive mother gives birth to a child, this child is put on a certain drug that, fights this virus. It's called nevirapine. So this mother should ensure that this child finishes the dose of the drug, and she should exclusively breastfeed the child for 6 months. There is no challenge, or there is no challenge for the mother not to breastfeed the child, even though she's HIV positive. Being that the child is on this drug that prevents HIV, she should breastfeed the child at least for 6 months. Then after that, she can stop. And there is a certain challenge that mothers face for the nipples to get cracked, and this puts a risk for the child of getting HIV. Yeah. So what they should do is that when the nipples get cracked, they should first stop breastfeeding the child. Yes. And also breastfeeding the child up to like 2 years, when the child has teeth and they can bite the nipple and cause some wounds and create a risk of transmission of the virus. It is very important at least only to stop on the 6 months. Then after that, start the other supplements like the formula milk or the cow milk, the porridge. But this child, being that the child is also fighting this virus, needs those antibodies that are in the breast milk.
Okay.
Yes.
Still about this. Now this is, I'm asking you as a woman, and I believe your fellow women will believe you more when it comes from a woman. We are told, or we hear, that breastfeeding is a family planning method. Is it true?
Yes, it is true.
How is it?
It is very true. Family planning has very many methods. So we have the artificial methods and the natural methods.
Yes.
And long time ago there were no these artificial methods. And our grandmothers used to use this method of breastfeeding the child as a family planning method. So these are the principles that guide this family planning method. As long as the mother has not yet seen her period, and as long as the child is breastfeeding exclusively, and yes, if she has not yet seen her period, she can use this method. But if she has seen her period, then she cannot use this method of breastfeeding the child. Breastfeeding the child makes the body to secrete these hormones that prevent the mother from getting pregnant immediately or as soon as possible. So it enables the mother to rest from the period of being pregnant, and it makes the body to assume that the mother has not yet come from that period, and this enables the mother not to get pregnant. And for those mothers who do not want to use these chemical methods, who have found that these chemical methods have side effects that they do not like, they can use this method and exclusively breastfeed their child for as long as possible. You can breastfeed your child up to 2 years, and as long as you have not seen your period, you will not get pregnant. Yes.
So does it mean that you can even go beyond the 6 months of exclusive breastfeeding? So you exclusively breastfeed your child for more than 6 months as a family planning method, or is it that the moment you introduce your child to other supplements, then it ceases to be a family planning method?
When you introduce your child to other foods or like cow milk or other things, but you are still breastfeeding your child often, it does not cease. Okay. It can still work for you as a family planning method. But the thing with this method is that you have to breastfeed your child often, because the more you breastfeed, the more this hormone is released that prevents you from getting pregnant. But if you only, like, say you breastfeed your child only in the morning, and you just give the child other foodstuffs, and you skip some days without breastfeeding, it will not work for you. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. So no more worries. The breastfeeding is really, really very, very important and vital to you as a mother, but also to the child as well. Now, Andrew, even as we wind up this discussion, what are your closing remarks on breastfeeding and your parting shots?
Yeah, so all I can say about breastfeeding is very important to a mother and a baby, and we shouldn't take it for granted. The baby gains from it nutritionally, or everything that is necessary for a baby to grow and protect the baby from infections is in the milk. The mother also gains a lot, as we have discussed. Yeah, even recovering from postpartum that condition after giving birth, and the other as a heart supplement. So breastfeeding really should be put in place. We should put it into consideration, and mothers should really practice breastfeeding. Yeah. Okay.
Karame, your last remarks on breastfeeding and your parting shots.
One thing I can say is that breastfeeding is not an easy task. It's a full-time job, and with this we need social support. The mothers need to be supported by the society, by their husbands, by their family, because with every child is another experience of breastfeeding. And another thing, it is very important for the health workers out there to teach these mothers how to breastfeed, the breastfeeding positions, the importance of the child being able to attach very well to the breast, because it is also very important. Okay. And also to guide these mothers with everything that they need to know. Okay. Yes, thank you.
So just in a minute each or less to send out greetings to the people who have been watching you. Andrew.
Okay, thank you very much. Send my greetings to my friend who connected me to this program this morning. Mr. Chigo's Edwin is our alumni at Makerere University. Greetings to my family, of course. Yeah, greetings to my cabinet members, Makerere students at large, CHS, the Métis College, and greetings to our association activity sponsors, that is CD Global Health Uganda. Yeah, and to all mothers and babies there, celebrate your week. Yeah, thank you very much.
Okay, Karame.
I would like to send my greetings to my family, to my parents. I would like to send greetings to my nursing class classmates, and also to Mr. Chigozi Edwin. Thank you very much for mentoring us. And I would also like to send my greetings to every mother out there who is breastfeeding their child and is doing a hard task of maintaining it. May God really bless you.
And God bless you so much for giving in this time to come and share with us about the importance of this week. Greetings to all of you who have been watching Issues at Hand. Issues at Hand will be back on Friday. God bless you. Meet again next time.